Hi guys, good evening. This is Muadib, and you are watching the 25th episode of the Amiga Raytracing webcast. So, on the last episode, we started talking about how to create realistic looking planets. And in this episode, we're going to continue this theme, and we will also be trying to create some very convincing planetary rings, just like the ones Saturn has. But before we go into that, we will take up a subject we left. Actually, that was a bonus subject I was beginning to talk about, and that was about transitioning from daytime Earth to nighttime Earth. You know, transitioning the textures where the sun was shining, for example, that should be daytime, while the other half part of the globe should be nighttime. And so let's have a look on how we could accomplish that for starters, and then we can go and see how we can create planetary rings convincingly and realistically. So let us go at once to layout. So let me see now. We have our Earth. How do we set up our scene so that this transition will take place when the sun stops shining? So let's start by loading our scene first. Okay, so that was the last episode, but anyway, and my Earth rotation, yes, that is the one I have added. Yes, I forgot. I have also prepared a very cool animation of that for you, so that you will see how the end animation should be, the end product. So on Scala, I will be loading my animation, Earth, day, night. Okay, so this is the one. So, and let me put it on infinite rotation so that you will see. So this animation is 960 frames long. Okay, it also has a transition that makes the transition of the image, of the two images, which is also 960 frames long. You should note, if you pay closely attention to the transition between day and night, you are going to see some very nice formation, mountain formation that should be visible, because it has a bump up texture that is elevating the the ground, wherever there are mountains. There's also a specular map. If you see, the sun is shining only on the sea and some lakes, which might not be too large for it to be visible here. And also there is an elevated object that carries the clouds texture and transparency map. So you may see, if you can observe, you will see that even the clouds are casting a shadow on the globe. By the way, hi Amiga Ireland, welcome. And of course you can see the transition is falling dead accurately where the the first texture stops existing, the other one starts to take place. And we are going to be looking exactly at that right now. Yep. Yeah, anyway, so that's it for this animation. Really great animation. I might be doing a high definition version of it, rendering it into high definition, probably in the future. But are there any questions so far? I mean, we are going to be going through that, but yeah. Anyway, so how do we do that? How can Lightwave be, you know, how do we harness Lightwave's power so that in order to do that? First of all, let us see what the scene is comprised of. Let's see, episode 24, and then I have the scenes here, and then I have the rotation, my Earth rotation. Okay, so first of all, I of course my object has to be ready. I have to have my texture ready. You know, this is my object. Hold on a minute. So I want to have. Where's my camera? My camera is here. So I want to. Yes. No, that's not the one. That's the one. Load. No, that's the one, I think. Yes. So if I do that, yes. Now my light. First of all, I have my object correctly textured. Okay. My images, as I can see, as you can see, my two images: the Earth day map, which is here, and the Earth night map, which is also here. They have to be correctly aligned with each other. So for example, if I load them in a modern painting program like Photoshop or GIMP and have them as two different layers, you know, if I start deleting by brush eraser my front layer, then my back layer should be exactly at the same, should be showing the same locations. So that is of paramount importance, otherwise that wouldn't work. Okay. So these two textures can be done. Actually, every texture I am showing you tonight and last week can be downloaded at the aforementioned web pages. If you remember, in the beginning of episode 24, I showed two websites, but of course there are numerous websites where you can download this stuff. That is the first. This is the first requirement we have to have. Okay, so day map and night map. The day and night should be dead aligned. I mean, they should be pretty much aligned. Secondly, I can show you there is a transition sequence that will tell which layer should stop showing and which layer should start showing. Okay, so I'm going to show you how that looks. This is also, since this is a motion, because at the end of the last episode I showed you a still image that it was covering half of the screen vertically. It was like white, and the rest of the file was black, and that showed where my each layer should show, or which layer should disappear. But now we need to have that as a sequence. So here is, first of all, wait a minute, transition motion. This is the transition motion I made, for example. This is the first frame, okay? So in wireframe, what I did, I actually took I took a quadrangle, okay? And I cloned it. And then I told it, okay, you are going to be moving moving to the right. Let's say if the Earth is rotating, say, wait a minute, eastwards. That's why we see the sun as moving towards west. That it's because the Earth is moving eastwards. So I want the replacement of the textures to be happening, you know, towards this direction, this rotation. And what that gives us, since I have this image, this day-night transition, you know, you see this, or perhaps I can show it to you on the paint program how that looks, because I have also made a smooth transition between black and white. Let me see, where is that now? It's webcasts, set for images. I think it's day-night transition. So let's say, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Hold on a minute. Image 24. Yes, that's the one exactly. So this is the image that does all the work. Let me zoom in for you just to see. So what I did, I counted having the coordinates visible here. I counted, and let's assume that this is a 640 by 2830 pixels high. But what I is mostly of interest here is the image's width. Okay, so from here up to here we have 640 pixels to play with. So what do? I am taking the 319, let's say half of the hold on, there. So this is like 320 here, or perhaps on here, yes, there. So up to that, my image is white. After 320, my image is black. Okay. Furthermore, when the two colors meet, I have made, and you can also replicate that, I've made a smooth transition. That is, you know, I have made some, you know, degrees of gray that go from white to black, and on the other side, I have made from black to white the same transition, but, you know, the opposite. Okay, so this is the image that I will surface my moving rectangles with. Okay. One other thing, you can see that I have my transition here and not here. I actually moved the black part. Wait a minute. The white part. Some pixels to the right, so that to compensate for this transition. So these two areas, they are equally large. Now, saving that, I quit then and go to Lightwave. I am loading my image here, and then I create a transition box that is, hold on a minute, let me let me see here. Yeah, from there I take I go to modeler, display and background image, and I am loading. Oops, sorry for that. Oops. And I am loading that little image here, day-night transition. And what I am doing here is really, hold on a minute, let me automatic sizing. No, it doesn't work. I am telling Lightwave, the modeler, you know, its size will be like, say, 320 centimeters. And oh, wait a minute, the X is going to be yes. Me too. And and the Y should be, these two X and Y should be the dimensions of the image in pixels. So let's say if I go to layout and see how much it is, 640 by 25. Okay, so let's go to modeler, 640 by 25, and display, background image, and day-night transition, and say 0.640 meters by 20. No, wait a minute. Point. That should be done correctly, actually. 25 meters. No, that's wrong. 25 millimeter and 640 here. Yes. So instead of pixels, you write millimeters here. Okay. Z is something we shouldn't be worried about because the axis should be Z here. Okay. Now, having done that, we have no image. Why? Let me see here. If I mess this with this around, yeah, here it is. So here is my image. I think this is wrong. Yes, this is wrong. 640 actually doesn't matter because I can, yeah. Anyway, what I can do is take a box and, you know, or let me see what I did with the other transition box. So this is the transition box. Okay. This is a this is 1 meter by 20 centimeters. No, wait. Yeah, by 20 centimeters, which is actually, yeah, just you know, just forget that what I've said about this this box here, and then, you know, replicating the resolution, the dimensions. You can have, for example, you can have any box. It can be thicker, you know, longer and stuff. So as long as you do an automatic sizing and the texture gets sized correctly, and then in layout you can have this thing here. So if I show you, if I put a gradient backdrop, yeah, you can have it. You can have this one here. Okay, now you will see that only some part of my picture gets rendered. That is because I have activated limited region. So if I deactivate it, hold on, sorry. Yes, if I deactivate it, I just get this. Okay, this is the image on my rectangle. And here, as I said earlier, I have the clone of the rectangle that gets repeated, but more on that later. So the limited region takes care only of the region on the screen that I want to be rendered. And I chose it to be, you know, this is it. I want only the rectangle to be rendered. Okay. So during the animation, that's what happens now. Now comes its clone to create the full rotation at frame 960. So this transition gets completed in frame 960. Okay. Now this sequence gets saved. Okay. And hold on a minute. Yes. Anyway, yeah. Sorry, I just take brought the chat window to the front. So having this transition saved, now we go to the next stage of our animation, which is the main one. Okay. Just waiting for it to save all these big textures. And now what I do, I am loading a sequence, not an image. I'm loading a sequence of all these 960 transition images I have saved on my projects folder, wherever. So which is this. So I have a transition from 0. Hi Anthony, no worries. So I have a transition here from 0 to 960. Okay, and that is going to be applied as an alpha image to both the daytime Earth and nighttime Earth texture. So if you go then to your Earth texture here, for example, okay, so you have one layer that has the Earth day map JPEG, and as an alpha image you apply the transition sequence. Okay. Yeah, you fix that stuff, y-axis, etc., spherical map, of course. And on the next texture you do the same, but for the night map. Only this time the only difference will be having the negative alpha image of your image sequence. So during you will be having the Earth moving, which has to be 960 frame loop, and at the same time you have its texture rotating at the same speed, but during the opposite direction, which gives you the illusion that it's not a texture, it's it just it's the Earth that people start turning on their lights because it gets dark. So yeah, and what else? First, yeah, and also this can be applied in lots of other in many other attributes. For example, the color texture is one, which is the basic one. Then luminosity, you apply the night map texture as a luminosity map, as a guide to say to tell light wave where it will be luminous, and you apply it only on the dark side. So there you have also, it's the same layer as the color, but for luminosity. Okay, so all these nice colors, all these nice lights that that exist on the texture get their their own illumination. And diffuse level, what I've done here, I think the specular map here is, for example, yeah, specularity. This is the no, wait a minute. This is the diffuse texture. What have I done here? Why? Yeah. This is because I wanted the oceans to be a tad more, darker than they were on the image. So this has nothing to do with the transition. Hence, why the texture alpha image is empty. And then we go to specular level, the same thing here. That is from before. All the patrons, you guys may have received that as it is. And also the bump map, yeah, and the bump map is the same. So only the color and the luminosity get this transitioning animation, you know, that guides which layer should turn on, which should turn off. What else? I think that's all about it. Yeah, that was quite, it's quite simple, but it's complicated in the sense of, what do the layers do and how do I apply this and this and that. One other thing to say is that creating the transition sequence, you have also have to have in mind where the transition starts. For example, in this case, the transition starts at 0 longitude, I think, at 0 degree longitude, which means that I have to have the sun at my right, at my left, as when I look at the Earth. So, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So I have the, I have the Earth here, and hold on a minute. Let me now want to have the grid on. Yes, now that will help me here. Yes. So here we have the Earth. Okay. The camera is here. The camera doesn't, it's not important how where it is, but we have to know where my day map, where my transition will begin. Okay. So, and I know that my transition falls here, which here coincides with the 0 degree longitude, what is it called, the not the parallel, the anyway, you know what I mean, let's say time zone 0 or Greenwich. So here's where the transition takes place. So that is going to tell me, since it starts here, it ends on the opposite side of the Earth. Okay. So that is what tells me where the sun is going to be, where it is going to be here. Okay. So right now I have the light, yeah, which is here. It illuminates the Earth at 90 degree angle. In terms of where my transition is, which makes sense, of course. Okay. So what we have here, I have the Earth moving this way. Let's not do a preview. And I have the texture, the black and white transition, which happens here and here, to move along the Earth but since it moves at exactly the same rate as the Earth turns from the other on the other during at the other direction, it seems stable if you look at it via the camera. So that was about the transition. Let me show it. Do you have, what's the time? Yeah. So that is about how the transition looks like. Let me, yeah. Anyway, if you look at the from the from the beginning, you are going to see the animation. Now for the second part, how do we recreate this Saturn and its fantastic majestic rings? So first of all, we go to modeler and create a very nice planet that is going to be quite large. For example, I'm not going to go to scale right now, sorry, but I'm going to wait a minute. Let's start by creating a let's say we need quite high resolution of my spheres, segments and sides. So let's go with 64 and 64, which should be adequate for up to say high definition, if you are, yeah. And let's now check the radius. Let's say 1 megameter, which is too little, but anyway, 1 megameter and 1 megameter. So enter, and space to release my tool, and A to fill it all on the on the screen. And I press Q and I name my planet Saturn and apply, and then I save it. Let's save that as episode 25, object Saturn. Okay, now this is Saturn. Now we are going to model hold on, sorry, there. We are going to model the rings. Now if you see on the website, on the webpage, how the rings texture look, you're going to see that it is only, let me see now where it is, which is only just a small segment of the whole ring. And so that poses a problem if we think about it conventionally, so the ring is like that. So this is a very, very small segment of the ring, which is quite a large texture, so if this is, say, wait a minute, let me see, I will be opening, I'm opening let's say brilliance to see volumes, 3D webcast, episode 25, images, and here. So this is like 2048 times 125. So let me write it down. 248 times 125. Okay, which is quite large. So if you want to make a full texture, which would be ring sized, making a whole disk, just to fit it on an object traditionally, that would actually be too large to fit, to get loaded in the computer memory. I mean, you would require many gigabytes of RAM to just load it. So that's So now, in order to tackle that problem, we can rely on transformation. And here's how we can do that. Okay. In the background, we have Saturn. Okay. And now, creating the rings, I've taken some. Yep. Let's create a box. We create actually a little segment with the following dimensions. Okay, this is 0, 0, 0, and here on the X we are going to be having 2.048 megameters. This will be 100 kilometers. Okay, and this will be 45 megameters. 45 megameters. And segments, my segments will be, this is the same. Hold on a minute. Yes, one segment there, one segment here, and 360 segments here. So what I'm going to be building, I'm going to be taking the texture and replicating it 360 times, one for each degree of my Saturn rings. Okay, one moment please. There. So now you are going to be, now you will wonder, why did we make a plank instead of making a disc? That's a very good question. The answer is that this plank is going to be transformed into a ring. And this is mandatory because, let's say, hold on a minute. Let's say I apply my texture here and I tell it to repeat on the height, which is going to fill, and continue to go on and create a plank, but with the texture of of Saturn's rings, and saving that as stage 1. I am taking this object and bending it and bending it in full circle so that it will connect on the other side, creating a ring. But since it will be a transformed image, the texture is going to follow the form of my object. Okay, and this is a common trick. I won't say trick. This is a common method used in all 3D programs, and that is why on the website you will find only this stripe of of a segment of Saturn's rings. So let's get right to it and do that. Say sorry, undo. There. After I created my multi-segmented quad, which is actually a cube since it has it is a 3-dimensional object, but anyway, it's not a cube, sorry. I am going to first center it in my x-axis by pressing F2 and center on one axis X. Okay, now it is centered here. Okay, and then I am bending. Let me show you. I'm bending it. Now I'm unzooming a bit. Bending by going to modify, bend. And first of all, I'm doing a test, by using, freehand bending and start to do and see, oh, that's nice, blah blah blah, and so on. So now it starts going towards the way I want it to go. But I am doing unzoom. That was a freeform test, and then pressing N to go into the numeric requester. Welcome, Walkero, welcome. And in my requester, I am doing the following. Axis is going to be Z. Okay. And then what I have here, I have my axis into Z, the range into automatic. I leave the sense as it is. The angle is going to be 360 degrees. Okay, since I want my my plank to go to, to get bent 360 degrees. The direction is going to be 0. I don't want that to deviate, up and down. I just want it to complete the circle. And the center is going to be, say, 200 meters, which is going to be very, very tight. Okay, you can experiment with the center values and see what's what can happen in other values, even here, or either on the x-axis or the other two axes. It can be very interesting to see what can happen. And doing that. Now let me undo first, and because I forgot to save, so this is going to be stage 1. I am rings, I am applying a surface. Okay, saving Saturn rings, and then we said this is going to be stage 1. Okay, and now I am applying the bend, the numeric. I have everything ready here, and now I am doing the complete, the full ring thing. Let me center it and see how that looks. Doesn't look that small, but anyway, we can lower it a bit by applying that here. So maybe there. And I think Saturn has thicker. The rings are more, sorry. The rings are thicker, and they reach quite deep into the planet's orbit. So I'm going to select the innermost innermost points and do a controlled stretch. Let's say, but with the x and the z axis, let's say 0.8 and 0.8. There, something like this. Okay, and even more. I think the stretch should be like this. Yeah. Okay, and that gets saved as Saturn rings stage 2. Oops, sorry. Stage 2. There. We don't really care about this object's surface. Yeah, right now it has the surface from the first stage because we worked on the same object. But we don't really care because we are not going to be transforming the metamorphing the surface. Now we have saved both of the objects. Okay, we are almost ready to go to layout. And I say almost because we're not 100% ready yet, and I'll show you why. During the metamorphosis, okay, let me show you, let me load actually stage 1, okay, and I'll show you what I mean. If I turn on the solid preview here, okay, now what happens, this the bend tool creates a ring that meets this part here, you know, and closes the loop. Okay. Now, if you see here right now, there is a surface that gets hidden by the loop, by closing the loop, okay, which is this one. So if you close the loop and you have one surface here and one surface here, and even they are concealed, this might pose a problem, especially if you apply a transparency map on the rings, since we are going to do that. So that will look like, you know, you have those great majestic rings of Saturn, you know, and there will be just one little stripe there that ruins the whole realism. So it is important that you delete this one here and one at the end, G, and in there. So you have to find that, you be careful not to delete any other polygon. So you want the polygon that points, you know, horizontally outwards. Okay, and you delete that. So that is no more. Now you can also see that, you know, there's nothing to be, there's nothing visible here. And this gets saved as Saturn ring stage 1 there. And as a good measure of precaution and a good habit, you redo the bend. No, actually, no, you don't do that, because we also we did some you know, resizing and stuff. However, you can find, if you go into the rings themselves, so the bend gets started here. So it's very easy to find these two offensive polygons, and I think they will be found here, which is the case, because I see 1, 2, wait a minute, 1, 2, here, see, wait, let me zoom in, and here, there, and here you can see these surfaces are going to be of use. So I'm deleting them, I am deselecting them, deselecting. Now I have two you see these two surfaces buried inside the ring. See, now you can see it better. These are the ones that are not needed. These are the ones that, you know, they are the ends of the plank before it gets connected. So I don't need them actually, and I will press delete, just making sure, okay, I have two selected, these two, and they get deleted. Okay, and now I'm ready to save this, the stage 2 of my object here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm selecting stage 2. Okay. Now I'm ready to proceed to layout, and let's see what we've done here. I'm loading my where is there, 25 objects, Saturn. Actually, let's not load Saturn yet. I'm clearing all objects because we want to work on the texture of the rings alone. So let me load Saturn stage 1. Okay, now I have my plank here. The camera cannot see it, but now, you know, I'm just hiring it a bit, there, and now I can begin texturing. Okay, remember, this is 0, 0, 0 of my blank. So I know where the point of origin of the texture is going to be. That's going to be of great use. And when I've done that, images, load image, and going to, sorry, webcast, 25 images, and then I have 2K Saturn IFF. No, sorry, replace. Oh, I want the rings. Ring color, yes. Okay, this is 248 by 2048 by 125. Now, Saturn rings. Going to, let's turn on the luminosity so that I won't be, looking into anything unfamiliar. And surface color, texture. I am doing a planar image map. There. And let's do automatic sizing just for see where this is going to, where this is going to get parked. F9. Oh, great! And now I'm starting to have to be having nice rings. Has a nice ring to it, don't you see? Don't you think? Yeah, that's the same thing. And also images. I also have an alpha color there that is going to be responsible for transparency, which let's try at once. Wait a minute, just a z-axis, not x, y-axis. Yeah, y-axis is more correct. Yeah. Because I'm having my texture as an image. This is just a stripe, and then I want it to be clad as y-axis, and then the height repeat gets turned on as well. The width repeat is not needed. And also, what I don't need either is this large of a Z, because if you put 48, if you put even 1, it doesn't matter because you have height repeat on. So let's see. No, that's wrong. I actually, oh wait, maybe width repeat. No, this is not correct. So let me fix that again. Oops, sorry, cancel, automatic sizing, and see 2048. Yeah, that's it. Okay, now had the repetition. If I turn off this, if I turn this off, I'll be having the texture here, but actually it's not visible because it's too small. But if I turn on height, repeat, then it gets repeated all the way, all the way to the end. There, and transparency as well here. Let me load up alpha, automatic sizing. With repeat, I can get it away. Now I have transparency as well, which I can control with this texture opacity. Okay, or no, wait, I made a mistake. This should be negative. There. Now this is transparency, because now we have the correct transparency map applied. When we are satisfied with the texture, we save all objects. We're saving all objects, and actually nothing is stopping us from loading the rest of the objects. Saturn rings 2 and Saturn himself. And what we want here as Saturn, we want self shadow, cast shadow, receive shadow. We want all of these. And Then we go to Saturn ring stage 1. We choose a metamorph target. So it's stage 2. Yeah, no complaints, because if I, for example, select an object that doesn't have the same amount of points, I get this. The morph target must have the same number of points, which doesn't have it. But Saturn rings stage 2 has the same amount of points, and you can see it here with cursor up, cursor down. I can change object. So Saturn rings stage 1, Saturn rings stage 2 have the same amount of points. Very, very important. Okay. Now Saturn rings stage 1 is going to be metamorphed to this if I push the slider to 100%. And that's what I'm doing right now. And Saturn rings stage 2 is not of any use to me, so that I am dissolving it into 100%. I just let it be there in the layout, and that won't get rendered. Just for the sake of, you know, the argument, I can disable these as well. Okay. And we are ready to save our scene. Let me save. There's my scene, episode 25, scene Saturn. Okay. What's left now is Saturn's texture map itself. So what is left is loading the image, 3K Saturn IFF, and going to the surfaces panel, selecting Saturn and changing spherical image map, selecting Saturn, and I think we are done here. Let me see now. Specular level. Wait, yeah, that's, we can add some flavor to these, but right now it's not needed. Another thing we can add, because this is a gas giant and there should be a transitional, no, it's not a rocky planet. So if you, when you're looking at its rim, there it should be somewhat fuzzy, you know. So we can turn on transparency and put a 0.3 here, perhaps, or something. Let me see. 0.3, no, 0.8 is too much. Do you see here the result? 0.8 is too much. 0.3 is too small, but we can actually experiment with that. Let's put it at 0.4. Okay, just for the sake of it. And of course, we turn on smoothing, because yeah, we don't want it to be segmented. As for Saturn rings, I don't think we need to do that. I don't remember. We can check it out. Oh, wait a minute. What happened here? Aha, strange. Let us see what happened here. Let me see if I've saved everything, because let me replace that. Yeah, and they are back. So what happened here? When I created the first text, the texture attributes here, the surface for Saturn rings, I then loaded Saturn rings stage 2 and Saturn. Saturn rings stage 2 shares the same surface name with Saturn rings stage 1, and that is why it the surface got overwritten. But luckily I had saved, so it's very important to save the object before, you know, anything, before doing anything else. Okay, but now we have it. Yeah, I think we are okay, good to go. So I am placing the camera, let's say here, and see what we have. Oh, great. There's something going on there. Interesting. Okay. Saturn looks great. The rings are somewhat too far away, you know, but we can fix that. And also about that little thing there, you know, what was that about? There's something, some distortion going on there. So let's see what is going on. Let me add a limited region there. Perhaps there is an error in transformation. So let me see. There, yeah. There's a transformation error. Something's going on there. So now I can do an animation of that. Say frame 0 will be 80% and frame 30 is going to be 100% of the transformation. So now I can see what's going on. And it's not, the error is not in the seam. It's not on the end and beginning of the loop, but it's, why does it happen? Aha, was there? Okay, let me see. Modeler. Yeah, you're right. I might have stretched them, you know, but 1 point. So if I can fix that. Yeah, that's two points. So let me take these and put them where they belong here. G. There. There. Good catch, Anthony. Very good. There. I think this is good now. Let me see. Yeah, that's good. That is great. And by the way, we can fix the we can place there. Yes, somewhere there. I think that is much better. Now we can export the rings, stage 2. Remember, if I export to an existing object, it won't get saved. It will be just in Lightface memory. So there, and let's see, 30. Yeah, I'm satisfied. Now I'm saving all objects. Now it gets saved, you know. Export does not save unless it's the first time you export via the new slot. I can show you once more. If I choose to export it to layout by choosing this, I get a requester. This is the first, during the first time, it's the only time that export saves an object. Okay, cancel. If I try to cancel, nothing happens. However, if I choose an existing slot, for example, now I have, I know I have Saturn Ring stage 2 loaded in layout, and it shows it to me. I've edited it, and now I want it to be exported, you know, just to see if it's okay. Okay, if I select that, the object gets transported to layout, but it won't be saved. Just remember that. Okay, and do a save all object when you're ready to do that. Okay, once more, let's see what's going on. I have to reload stage 1 to get my texture back, and no, I won't get it. Replay Saturn Rings stage 1. Yes. So no. What happened? Oh yes, I saved all objects. Yeah. Damn it. Anyway, planner. Why? I remember everything. Color. I don't want that. Automatic sizing, yes. Here, and transparency, planar, alpha, Y, automatic sizing. I don't want the width, and let's see what we did. Smoothing, no, we don't need smoothing. Let me save all object before I do that and see what's going on. Great, nothing's going on because here there's a negative. Yes, yes, I think this is correct. But anyway, let me be sure, do that, and let me see that. Let me see something. Remove envelope. And that's where I start from the beginning and do things correctly. It's there. Let me make Saturn disappear. Dissolve 100%. Hold on a minute. Dissolve Saturn rings one. Yes. No. Now I have just this to worry about. Yep. Doesn't quite look good. So I'm automatic sizing. No, that still doesn't look good. Why this is 0, 0, 0 there, and damn it, remove texture. Just for a fail safe, we go here, we load Saturn rings stage 2, okay, Q, and just place it on default, and we save it back so that it won't mess with our texture. We just changed the name of its surface. Now back to layout, clear all objects, clear everything actually, clear scene, and do a texturing again. Let's texture there. Camera, I want my camera to be as it was, pitch there, and see what's going on here. And there, yeah, something's going on here. Automatic sizing and negative as well. Yep, I'm somewhat there, and let me automatic size it a bit here as well and see if, yeah, that's the one I want. Really, let me put some luminosity and see if this is the correct. Yeah, I think this is the correct texture to be had. Yes, exactly. I have the same number here. I'm just changing it to 2048 000 there, and the same thing to my transparency map there, 248 000, and see what I accomplished. Yes, perfect. Anything else I might have here? Yeah, let me have it on diffuse, and we'll see, and we'll get it from there. And also, no, edge transparency, we don't really need that anyway. Saving all objects, and now I'm gonna load my scene. Yes, and see what we did. Okay, what we have accomplished up to now. So a point of advice I have to remember myself too is, have the transformed object at another surface name. So that saves you from all the fuss that I went through right now. And let's press F9 and see what is going on. Yes. Now we're very close to, having our Saturn. I see here this is a little too much, you know, this fuzziness around the edges of the planet. So I can go here and tell it, okay, 0.2 to be transparent. Okay, furthermore, I can, hold on a minute. Yeah. Yeah. Somewhat like that. And also, if I remember correctly, Saturn has an inclination towards the orbital plane of 27 degrees. So we can emulate just that. First of all, we can put this its Saturn rings stage 1 to have the planet as a parent, okay? And then we can rotate the planet like towards its the axis, this axis, you know, like 27, I think. Too much. Anyway, let's just leave it at 25. And let's rotate that towards the sun. Yeah. And let us put our camera there to get some nice, to catch some nice I just want to show I just want to show you some nice ring shadows, you know. Yeah, there. Okay, now what is left from this from this being a space scene is, you know, we just have to minimize global illumination, which is visible here, say 0%, and I think that's it. Oops, I'm overdue. And also ray trace shadows, which is very important. Nice. I think there are some shadows here, so I just have to turn the planet a bit. Just let me save everything. Save all objects and save the scene. And now let me rotate the planet somewhere like here, perhaps. And F9. No? Camera, perhaps. Camera. Yes, here. Something like that. No, nothing. Why? Saturn. Diffuse. Yes. Saturn rings. Oh, perhaps, yeah, double-sided. They have to be double-sided. Let me think. Let me try. No. I have to. I think I'll load the other scene I've done for the thumbnail to show you. Here, perhaps, or a bit farther away. Yeah, there were some shadows here. There. Hold on a minute. No, that's wrong. You know, Saturn rings should be, the rings Saturn ring stage 1. Yeah, they can. They have cell shadow. I am tracing shadow. The object is here. Surfaces, diffuse level, yes. Transparency, double-sided. Yeah, that doesn't. Actually, that might not be what I need right now. And let's take there. Aha, yeah. The shadows are too far away. So this is the view of my light. So I'll try to move the object. Move not this Saturn's rotation, so that to get some nice there. I think I am going to get some nice shadows here and in the back of the rings. So I'll just place the camera here. Let me see if this is correct. Where's the light? No light visible. So I'll just activate that. Yes, now here's the light, and here is my incident. So there, perhaps I don't know. You can experiment, you know, for yourselves also when you do that. There. Oh wait, there. Let's see if I see some shadows here. Yeah, there are the shadows that are falling on the planet. And if I go a bit up and to the there, I may see something. Yeah, I have also the planet shadows going to the rings. So at last, that's it for tonight. I hope you liked that. I'm saving everything for the patrons. Do you have any questions before we end the webcast? Okay, thank you, Anthony. Thank you, guys. If you have any questions, just bombard me with mail, no problem. Sorry, Walker, I just saw that. Can we make the shadows softer? Yes, by increasing the transparency. So here, webcast, wait, I'll show you the scene there. So you can increase, you can make the ring shadows, I presume you mean. So if I go to Saturn rings, transparency, and this is 100%. So you can make them smoother. Right now they are, hold on, just show you. Let me see here. This looks a bit off. So I'll just increase. I want it to be, I don't want to add luminosity because that takes away the shadows, but I just I'm increasing some of the diffuse. So if you're talking about these shadows here, okay, so now you can increase the transparency, let's say 50%, so that wherever the texture does not fall, that should be valid, should be 50% transparent. I think that's what no, yeah, exactly, that is correct, but only halfway. You have also to take a bit away from that, so that's say 75%. So now the shadows are getting softer. here. Okay. Anyway, guys, I got to go. I'm a bit overdue. Just mail me and I'll answer ASAP. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you very, very much. See you next Monday. Until then, just keep on ray tracing and you know, create stuff, and email me or post something on the forum if you have any questions or if you want to show your work. Okay. And last but not least, a shout out to our patrons. Thank you, guys. Volcaro, George Sokanos Volcaro, Yarla, Midone, Anthony Jarvis, GS, and Todd Chamberlain. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for your support, and see you next week. Bye bye. Cheers.